to know the accounts is a bit like anatomy and physiology. You know, you have to know these basics to run a successful business. This session was all about accounts. And I must admit, I went to this session knowing very, very little about the accounts. All I know is that I've done is that my trainer very politely told me that said, if you're going for a partnership, make sure that you get access to the accounts beforehand. Apart from that, that's where the lesson ended. And this finally added a bit more meat to that very meagre bone. I actually had my accounts with me for the session, and it sort of split into a couple of parts, with the first part being going through the skeleton of the accounts, how they're all made up, and where those money is going in and out, and how that should be presented to you, on an annual basis. And I came away with it going, finally, I think I sort of get it. The second part, which was fascinating, was to do with fraud. And it's one of those that you think that your practice manager, so in our case, our practice manager, has an awful lot of financial control. And he talked through a couple of cases where, either doctors who got access to PCM money, practice managers who got access to, sort of paying the accounts, had gone a bit rogue for whatever reason. And it came to a couple of really useful tips. The first one is that everyone he's experienced who commits fraud has a reason. So know your personnel. If you know them, you know what struggles they're having, that actually, you can help them out early. And also leads on to the second point, that if they are struggling, is that you can add in checks and balances, not only to make sure they don't make any mistakes, but not only just to make sure they're not siphoning off or doing something else. So again, food for thought. Finally, it was premises. Now, premises was interesting from my point of view. Didn't appreciate the scale of difference. So in my practice, we rent our property, and there are companies out there that will buy the property and then sort of sell it to you, etc., etc. And I didn't realise the massive delta in terms of earning potential from it. Now, there are pluses and minuses to this, but again, and it's one of those that it was just really bringing into stark light that sort of difference, and how it may put some people off, or others who aren't that sort of well driven from it. Again, another very, very superb session going into the really nuts and bolts of the accounts of general practice, and they sort of take away that actually to know the accounts is a bit like anatomy and physiology. You have to know these basics to run a successful business. Been Dr. David Hindmarsh. Please have a look down below. I'm trying to review all of these videos. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything out. I'll leave all the useful links below, and I'll see you later.